can talk later, whenever we are free after the session. So, especially from my experience, as I mentioned, we also created our manufacturing setup in India. We are working with the ecosystem partners, various component manufacturers to set up their shops in India. All these things creates opportunities for all the professions based out of everyone, the chartered accountants, engineers, any IT professionals, doctors, everyone. So if you look at from the perspective of India is always considered as a talent pool. With here Mr. Srini talking about Australia is a country of rich mineral resource. So if you talk about India, is on the global chart always considered as a strong talent pool. So everyone recognizes globally that India is a global talent pool. On the other side, due to COVID, everyone has learned to work remotely. So that's also added, as an added advantage. Now with all the uncertainties which were there, every company, all the large corporates, with all the crisis which is going on, currently also, they're always focusing on their bottom line, how to protect the bottom line. And one way is to look for cheaper options, whether it's component, whether it's manpower, anything. And India, fortunately, unfortunately, we are still comparatively cheaper compared to the rest of the world. So we have strong talent pool, comparatively cheaper manpower. Then third, people have learned to work remotely. If we sum up all these three, so we have very strong opportunities already all being created in India. And being CFO of a multinational company managing Asia Pacific region, I can see that change happening rapidly. Our company, lot of the headcount, like for example, my team, I manage Asia Pacific region. My entire team is based out of India, based out of Gurgaon. So I manage Australia from India, Japan from India, Central Asia Pacific from India, all these markets from India. And there is no, problem whatsoever managing this country. So what we need, so next important fact is what we need as a professional, to tap these opportunities. That is the most critical question that we are, trying to figure out, and that's where CPA, figures into the scheme of things. So, what we need, first of all, we need to upskill ourselves. When I talk about upskilling, upskilling is a continuous process. But in today's context, it has become more important because the norms of the world is changing very fast. What was true 10 years back may not be true today. What I have learned as a CA 15 years back may not be relevant today. So everything, across is changing rapidly. So upskilling is very important. Now to tap these opportunities which is coming across the world, we have to first of all break the silos, break the barriers of the geographical boundaries, and need to understand what's happening across the world. Rather focusing on कि यूपी गवर्नमेंट में क्या हो रहा है या फिर हरियाणा गवर्नमेंट क्या कर रहा है, we have to think beyond what's happening across the world. So that is another very critical fact. So as I mentioned, break the silos, focus on continuous learning, and then think beyond India boundary. So when I say think beyond India, what do you need to do? So there are basics which we need to follow. So again, before going into ICPA, want to add a couple of more things from the CFO lens. When I hire a people, what I look for, what when I'm building my team or existing team member also, I need to upskill. So what are the few things that I always look for? And even for my own role, there are four key pillars I always give priority to. And I've been talking about it. Maybe people have heard it earlier also. So I always say, everyone have heard of four P's of marketing. So to simplify for my team and for the fellow colleagues, I simplified four P's of finance or four P's of CFO. The first P is to partner. So partner is the role of a strategic CFO because we have been talking maybe 10 years. मैं तो बोर हो चुका हूँ हर कोई बोलता है कि हमें the role of CFO has changed. Actually, it has already changed. I don't have to talk about it. We are no more accountant. We are a partner to the business. When I'm saying partner to business, We are party to everything. We can't say कि ये CEO ने किया या marketing ने किया. We are party to everything. We are part of every decision making. So we have to be on top of every aspects of the business. So finance is the only guy in the company which has a full 360 degree view of the entire business. So that's the one, which is the partner. Second P is the protect, which is the traditional CFO. We are supposed to protect the business of our company from external forces, from internal forces. Again, here, knowing the international facts are important because as a CFO, I'm managing Australia for here. I need to keep a full track of what's happening in Australia, what's happening across Japan, what's happening across CAP, not only from the threat perspective, but from an opportunity perspective. So that's the second P, which is project. Third P is people. People again is has a different definition for different people in the ladder in the company. If I talk about me, for me is to hire a very strong entrepreneurial and ensure the upskilling of my team member. But when I talk about maybe a team member who is an individual contributor, for him, is building a strong interpersonal skills is important. Building their skill set level continuously is important. So that's the third P. Fourth P is the problem solving, which is the most important in every context. Because we as a finance professional, we are no more to say ये हो सकता है ये नहीं हो सकता. We are party to everything and we have to solve problems through innovative solutions by challenging the status quo. As I already said, what used to happen 10 years back is not relevant today. If we are into that world, maybe we are losing all the opportunity for the company. So we have to think innovatively. We have to think from the perspective of how to solve the problem. Instead of saying no to anything on the business side, from my personal experience, I always come back and say to my stakeholder, for a business, this is good or bad. If it is good, how to do it? If it is bad, why it is bad and why we should not do it. So that's where we have to think from a problem solving perspective. And with all this, if I sum up, then comes why CPA? Why we think CPA is one of the course which can solve all this. When I was thinking to upskill myself, so biggest fear in me was to again go back and read those motive 500 600 pages of books after 15 years of gap. Going through that experience again was really tough, but I went through the entire curriculum of CPA. It was really exciting. I would encourage everyone, whether you do it or not, go through the curriculum. You'll find it's very relevant. It's very I would say in a manner drafted in such an excellent manner that you can relate each and every topic to the real world. The examples are very relevant. It's not talk about कि 1950s में क्या हुआ था. It has an example कि 1920s में क्या हुआ और maybe 2020s में क्या हो रहा है, recent years में क्या हो रहा है. So that makes it very uh, interesting to read. You will not get bored. So that was one tick for me. Otherwise, I was always very कैसे पढ़ूंगा कैसे करूंगा with so much of everyone has their responsibilities at home. You work for 8 hours 12 hours for the office. When you come back, you didn't get time to go through again for the academics books. But if you like it, you read it. So the first thing I would say, you will definitely like it because it's drafted in a very nice manner. And the topics which it covers are very relevant on the entire thing that I talked about earlier. Uh, it talks about how to handle the uncertainties of the external environment, how to handle the internal conflicts, how to manage the internal stakeholders, how you build the strategy for a longer period from a short term period perspective. And all these topics, when you read, it's a good testimony. Ultimately, when you take a decision, when you're trying to draft a strategy, what you look for, what is the success rate of it, correct? And that's the biggest uncertainty because you don't know how it will be. But if you know that somebody has succeeded by doing this, it gives you confidence to go ahead. And definitely, when I was going through the entire curriculum and syllabus of that particular global strategy and leadership, it gave me a lot of confidence. What I've been doing was correct. There are few things I could have done better. And when I'm drafting a strategy today, it again gives me a lot of confidence. It gives me a lot of courage to go ahead. So from my experience, as I said, I've been managing various countries. I have opened up a lot of markets. Again, the curriculum talks about when you enter a new market, what are the few things you need to do, you have to ensure. So that really helps. So sitting here, managing, world outside India, you need to have certain guidance, certain base level understanding. That certainly you will get from CPA. Next, definitely we are all fortunate because of the mutual agreement we have. Well, thanks to ICI, it has made it very simpler for us to get access to this course. And then the team over here is very supportive. In fact, I was struggling for my document perspective. The team came, on top of these things and helped me, come over the issues that I was facing. So I thought this must be a very huge team who's managing, because managing the issues of the so many candidates is difficult. But I was amazed when I first time met this team. It's a 3-4 member team managing issues so efficiently, so and taking care of it so closely. So thanks to that, to Preeti and his team. And with this, I will not talk much. If you have any question, I'll take it later. But I would definitely encourage everyone to go through the curriculum at least once. And I'm 100% sure you will like it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dinesh.